Okay, welcome to those of you who are watching the recording. We've had a little greeting already for everybody who's on live. This is Heather Mitchell, and this is our welcome video for the new Exemplify Social Media Mastermind. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and close my chat window, but if you guys have questions as I'm going through things, feel free to go ahead and type them into the chat window, and then I will look at those questions at the end and go through any questions at the end. So you don't have to wait till the end to put your questions. You can put them. And the other thing that I didn't think about until recently, but it has been really helpful, is that let's say you have a question and you're not really comfortable asking that question in front of everybody else. There is the option in the chat function to send it just to me. So if you have a question that you're not comfortable asking in front of everyone, or if you just are the kind of person that doesn't like to ask questions in front of everybody, I still want you to be able to get the help that you need. So please feel free to send me questions privately, and I won't call you out or anything. I'll just answer your question in the order that I receive them. All right, so I closed my chat window. Let's go ahead and expand this presentation here. And actually, you know what? I'm going to open my chat window just for one more second because I want you guys to tell me that you guys can see the presentation. Can everybody see it? Okay, awesome. Thanks, Nicole. All right, so what we're going to talk about tonight is how you can exemplify your business. And we came up with this fancy-dancy tagline over the summer with our business coaches that we are going to show you how to double your reach in half the time. So I want to start tonight, before I even go into some of the training elements, I want to share some of the success stories that have been so impactful to me personally over the last few years as we've developed this social media and technology system. Sandra is a consultant who chose to have a virtual team by choice. So there was no big story behind it. She just wanted the ability to work virtually. And that's the video. If you hopped on early, you were watching Sandra's car presentation. So Sandra promoted to region last summer, and her whole team is almost completely virtual by choice. So if they have a client that asks them to do an in-person presentation, they will. They get together, I think probably every month as a team, for those of them that are in town, just to connect with each other. But they do almost all of their business online using the system. Since last summer, Sandra is now almost halfway to Nation, and she has one person that she will probably be handing the keys out to, maybe even two, over the next 6 to 12 months. And at least a couple of people who've been hitting their area manager level bonus in the last few months. So people that are halfway or more to region. The next success story that I want to share with you is Leah. Leah reached out to me shortly after I created the training and the original system that we were using to let me know that because she had plugged into the system, she was able to continue growing her business while she volunteered in Tanzania for a year. So she and her husband moved to Tanzania. They built a school in a rural area. And she loved the system so much that she created her own custom template for her team. And so she supports her leaders globally, combining both virtual and in-person. So she has a combined approach. She has leaders in in 4 of the countries, and she is very close to national vice president. I think she recently went into qualification for national vice president. And then Molly has become one of my closest friends, and her story is that I got a message. I had posted something about how I earned my trip to the Bahamas 100% virtually back when we were first getting started. I would say this probably in the second year. And she said, "Hey, you don't know me, but I just wanted to let you know how much of an impact you've had on my family." They had a family health crisis, and she spent most of 4 months in the hospital with a family member. And she said, I just happened upon your system shortly before this happened, and I really thought that I was going to lose my business because my focus needed to be 100% on my family and on making things well in my family. And she said, but what ended up happening is that in the quiet hours in the middle of the night, I would find myself working my business as a way to, it is kind of we often think that this is like our big challenge, and these are the scary things, the things that we push ourselves out of our comfort zone. But for Molly, she reached a point where working her business was actually her relaxation at the end of the day. So it would be quiet and it would be the middle of the night, and she was able to work her business in the middle of the night from the hospital floor. And she earned the trip that year to the Bahamas completely virtually. And she has fallen in love with the system, so she continues to stay connected. Even though they're past that crisis, one of her daughters is an equestrian, so she works from the barn. This is a picture. She took her family to Europe and she was able to stay connected. And so that's Molly's story, and she's become one of my very dear friends. And Jane is another close friend of mine who, this is one of my favorite stories because Jane and I were really good friends really from the beginning, right? From when I had started working on this system. And she kind of procrastinated doing the virtual thing. She'd been working her business in person for a really long time. She kind of had things all set and ready to go. And she kept saying, I really need to learn how to do that. But in her mind, it was going to be really complicated and she was going to have to learn new things. And so she kind of kept putting it off. And the irony is that once she jumped in and really learned the system, she learned it from end to end. And, she'll be the first person to say, I don't even use it perfectly. Like, she's like, I've got tasks that aren't checked off, and, I don't use everything the way it's meant to be used. But she's become really good at working her business in 15-minute increments from wherever she is. So, she'll be sending out invites or chatting with people that are doing a clean eating group from the school parking lot while she's waiting for her daughter to come out from school, or from the beach when Brady's surfing, or, when she's taking the kids to sports practice and that kind of stuff. And the other thing that Jane is really, really good at is that she takes such great care of her clients, and it's such a simple system that she is able to get referrals from across the country from her existing clients. So she's taught them to keep their guest profile in their phone, and when they hear of somebody or know of somebody who might be interested in clean eating or great skincare, they just send Jane's guest profile and she gets the referrals that way. So she does a great job with that as well. And I just want to take a minute to share my story so that those of you who are new can learn a little bit about me and how the system came to be. My background is actually, my professional background is corporate. Give me just a second here. I'm hearing some sound, so I want to see if I can mute everybody one more time here. Okay, cool. So my background, I come from a corporate background, and actually my degree is in social work with a minor in psychology, and I kind of stumbled into the corporate world and into business. But since then, I fell in love with business, and I've been a business owner a couple of different times, so this is not my first business. And I got really sick about 8 years ago. So sick that probably for the first 2 years, I barely got out of bed. I went through tons of different tests. They couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. They were trying to treat me with pharmaceuticals. One of the reasons that I fell in love with Arbonne was because I learned so much about nutrition, kind of in trying to find my way to better health. But basically I was undiagnosed for 7 years. So my primary symptoms were fatigue and a lot of pain and brain fog. And I had been a business owner before, and I was really in a position where not only did I not want to go back to being a corporate employee, but it really would have been a challenge for me physically to do that. And so I saw network marketing as a solution, but honestly, even network marketing, I needed a different way to work my business because I couldn't necessarily plan on being available to do a presentation next Thursday at 5 o'clock because I didn't know how I was going to wake up feeling that day. My body was very unreliable. So with my professional background, I had been in marketing and operations, working with clients like Coke and Blockbuster. I'd been a franchise trainer teaching marketing to small business tech providers. My previous business was in affiliate marketing, doing customer acquisition for companies like Netflix and Gamefly. And then I had I'd started my Arbonne business, and I was with Arbonne for 6 years, and I ended up creating this system as a way for me to work my business. That was the only thing that I had in my mind when I first started this, like before I met Sandra and Molly and Jane and all those people, is that I just needed a way that I could work my business and teach my team without having to rely on my body. And what ended up happening is that was way back in the beginning, when most of us were saying, oh, Facebook is just going to, it's a flash in the pan. It's going to be gone in, a couple of years. This social media thing is just a phase. And, there weren't a lot of rules in place, and we didn't know what we were doing. So initially I was creating training videos for my team of 2, my really big team. And I was posting them up on my Facebook page. And what happened was Sarah came across it and told Sandra, and then maybe a couple other people came across it who told a couple other people who told a couple other people. And as most of you know now, what that turned into 6 years later was a group with over 10,000 people in it. So in case you're wondering whether network marketing works, it does. Word of mouth is really effective because that's pretty much how everybody finds out about Zemplify, is through word of mouth. And so right now, what we're doing with Zemplify is I just made the decision last April to step down so that I would not be affiliated with any particular network marketing company, and to put all of my time and energy into turning Zemplify into a real life company. So that's what we've been working on over the summer. And what Zemplify is marketing technology and training for teams. And so now I want to talk to you about what that looks like and how that can benefit your business. So first, some admin and fun stuff. Really quick, if you have tech issues, sometimes the audio will go in and out. Try logging out and logging back in. That will usually fix it. But just know also that this is being recorded, and that I will be emailing the recording out to anyone who's on the email list. And that email list is at zemplifymastermind.com. We're still in the process of putting the website together and all that kind of stuff. So we're not fancy yet. So it's just a page where you can put your name and your email address in. But I will send reminders for each of our webinar sessions that are coming up, along with a recording to everyone that's on that list. And then we already talked about Q&A and the private chat option, so we can skip that. So let's talk about some of the myths that are involved with this idea of working your business virtually or using social media for your business. One of those myths is that you can't work virtually if you're not techie. So a lot of people are intimidated by the technology piece of it. They're afraid that it's going to be complicated and that maybe they're going to feel stupid because they don't know what to do, or it feels overwhelming. Another myth that I'm going to challenge is the idea that real relationships don't develop online, and that you hear it all the time. This is belly to belly business. You have to meet with people in person. And my response to that is that this is a heart to heart business, and that, I left home and moved away from my hometown when I was 18. And I haven't lived near my parents ever since. And yet I have a very loving, connected relationship with them. And I have a ton of friends that I've met through our group that I've developed incredible relationships with. So I personally debunk the idea that relationships can't develop online, that real relationships can't develop online. Another myth is that social media is a waste of time. I'll talk a little bit more about that. And then this last one, I always had a sense that this was a myth, but I didn't really have any evidence for that until we went to this event last month, and I'm really excited to share what I learned there. So the idea that you need to know how to use Pinterest and Instagram and how to tweet and Snapchat and Periscope to be successful, it's just not true. And we're going to talk more about that in just a minute. So to bust those myths, if you can surf the web and use your phone, you can learn to work virtually. Our system is really simple, and I would argue that it is as simple to use as Facebook is. So we have tutorials for everything. You'll know step by step how to do it. Most of my best friends live out of town, and the one best friend that lives in town lives 10 minutes from me. And we definitely spend way more time on Voxer and Facebook than we do meeting with people in person. In fact, she went to the conference with me last month, and we were joking about the fact that that was more time than we had spent together probably in the last 2 years, even though we live so close. Social media can be used to listen, to connect, and to support teams, and to establish yourself as the go-to person for the problems that you solve if you know how to use it correctly. So social media can be a waste of time, and it can be used in a way that you would go, ew, gross, I don't want to use social media that way for my business. And we've all seen it happen. But if you know how to use it properly, it can actually be a really great tool for your business. And we had the opportunity to hear a social media panel at the event last month of people who had sponsored hundreds of people into their business using social media alone. So it's definitely something that can help you grow your business. So at that most power, this is the favorite thing I think that I walked away with from the Most Powerful Women event that we went to last month, is that in their social media panel, these were 4 women who are all 6-figure earners or more, who have sponsored several hundred people using social media. And every single one of them said that 90% of the results that they're getting, so that doesn't mean that they're not using the other things. They're using everything. They have blogs, they use Periscope, they're doing a ton of different things, but 90% of the results that they get where they actually connect with somebody, build a relationship, have them as a client or sponsor them into their business, came from Facebook. That is such a key thing to know, because duplication is the most important aspect of developing long-term success in network marketing. So if the way that you use social media isn't simple and systematized, it's going to hinder your long-term growth. So that's going to be one of the key things that we're going to focus on in the training that we do in this mastermind, is that it isn't just about learning how to use social media. It's really about learning how to use social media in a way that can be easily and elegantly duplicated by an entire team. So one of the most common questions that I've gotten over the last 6 years is virtual better, easier, faster, etc.? There's a tendency to want to think that, ooh, if I just do virtual, it will solve all of my problems. The reality is, you guys, virtual is different. So it's going to provide different benefits for you. It's going to attract different clients, different hosts, and different team members, but it's not better. It's not a magic bullet that's going to fix everything. So we're going to talk about what those features and benefits are. And I will tell you that the people that I think are the most successful are using a blend of both. So if you have a reason, whether that reason is medical or geographic, or just because it's your preference for your lifestyle, you absolutely can, as Sandra has proven, build a business 100% virtually. However, I think that a blend gives you the option to reach not just the people who would be attracted to working a business virtually, but also to be working with people who are attracted to working a business in person. So, quick overview of our system. On the left, you'll see the whole system from beginning to end in one snapshot. We invite people to take a look at the brand. When they say yes, we send them a guest profile so that they can tell us what's important to them. We process their profile, which just means that we're going to ask questions, listen, and make the recommendations that are right for them. And then we're going to follow up. The system is simple, zen, and fast. We put leadership first, and we offer crowdsourced support. And those 3 things are our primary strategies, and they're really vital to why this is such a smart system. So let me talk a little bit more about those. So simple, zen, fast. If it's simple, that means it's going to be easy to duplicate. If it's easy to duplicate and easy to learn, that allows for rapid growth. When you get rapid growth, that helps your team get into momentum, and momentum is what it takes to build a massive organization. Zen means no pushing, pulling, dragging, no resistance, okay? So the idea behind the Zen is that the guest profile lets them pull you. Instead of convincing somebody, trying to overcome objections, you're gonna start the conversation by finding out what's important to the person that you're talking about. And this picture on the left-hand side is Russell Crowe in A Beautiful Mind. And he's looking at this really complex equation. And the way that the artistic directors for the movie showed this scene, there were certain pieces of the equation that started to light up. And that's how he knew the answer to the equation. That's what the guest profile is, you guys, is that it's going to give you the information that you need to know how to connect to your guests so that you can provide the solution that's best for them. You put simple and Zen together, your leaders are going to show up. They're going to tell you who they are. And when you put leadership first, that helps you to grow really quickly. And we're going to take a look at why. So this idea of putting leadership first, the picture is of poker chips. And this is from a corporate exercise that I did back when I had a, quote, real job. We had a corporate trainer who came in and she pulled 2 volunteers up to the top, and she had one of those long, like, picnic benches, and she had white chips. So there were a bunch of white chips, and then after the white chips were a few blue chips, and then a few red chips after that. So picture 2 lines of poker chips lined up, and she had each of them stand at the end of the white chips. And she said, okay, you guys, I'm going to time you, and whoever picks up the most wins. She starts the timer. Oh, and the rule was you could only pick up 1 at a time. So she starts the timer. They start picking up chips as fast as they can. She stops them. One of them has $12. One of them has $13. She says, great, put the chips down, go sit down. And the next moment, if you guys have ever been in a live presentation and you've seen one of those aha moments where everyone in the room kind of goes, oh, and you know that they got it right away. This is what happened. So she looks at the room and she said, you know, I didn't say which end of the table you had to start at. So they were standing by the white chips, but there was nothing in the rules that she gave them that said that they couldn't walk to the end of the table and start picking up the red chips first. And if you think about from a strategic standpoint, and this is really important when you look at your business and how you're going to grow, is that it takes the same amount of effort to pick up 13 white chips as it does to pick up 13 red chips. The difference is that 13 red chips is worth $650 instead of 13. So this is the concept that I want you to have in your mind as we're talking about why it's so valuable to identify your leaders at the beginning of your business. Or if you've been in business for a long time, as you launch your virtual business. So step 1 is to find your leaders. Step 2 is to launch your leaders so that they can get their business going. Step 3 is to go back and assist your clients so you're building a really good, strong customer base. And we're going to talk here in a minute about the value of reorders. Step 4 is you're going to help your leaders. Okay, you're launching your leaders. You're going to help your leaders find and launch their leaders. So you're beginning to duplicate that process, right? And then the leaders are going to assist their clients. And that system is just going to keep going through multiple levels. So let's stop and talk about clients for a minute. This came up, and if you've been watching some of the leaders in our field, there's been a number of top leaders who've done some really great presentations recently, periscopes or videos that they've done that they've put out there on the web about what's happened to Vimeo recently. And so basically what happened is they got in trouble, and one of the main things that they got in trouble for from the FTC is that they're being seen as a company that primarily focuses on just recruiting consultants, and that they didn't put enough emphasis on customers. And this is something that Art Jonek's been talking about the Mastermind event for the last 5 years. So I think he's seen this coming, and we're seeing it start to play out in some of the choices that the FTC has made in the last few years. And I think it's going to be incredibly important to anybody who wants this to be providing for their family 10 and 20 years down the road, is that the importance of having a customer base is vital, not only for you personally and the benefit of having a large paycheck, but also it's going to be vital for the stability of companies. And Arbonne was one of the front runners in putting a system in place where there was a preferred client program. So kudos to them for that. But let's talk about the benefit to you and to your team of having those client reorders and not only focusing on your business builders. So your business builders, when, for anybody who's interested, awesome. Bring them in, get them going. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. But client reorders, let's say that you work, and quick disclaimer, anywhere I put numbers on my trainings, you guys, they're just meant to be examples. So nobody's business ever grows evenly. People start, people quit. Everybody's different. They have a different skill level. But I want you to understand the math of why this business model is so powerful. So let's say you work 10 hours a week. And because you're working 10 hours a week, you're able to average bringing in 5 new clients a month. And that represents $1,000 in sales. This is where your recurring income begins. So in the first month, you get paid commission on $1,000 in sales. So that's all hours that you worked. In your second month, if you have half of the people reorder because you have a good follow-up system and they loved the products and you've taught them how to make the most of their client account, you can work the same number of hours, but increase what you're getting paid on by 50%. Let's say in the third month, you work the same number of hours, you average the same number of new clients, same number of new sales, but now you have $1,000 in reorders because you have some from the first month and some from the second month. Now you've basically doubled what you're getting paid per hour. And that's the only thing that I want you to connect there in your brain, is this idea that when you have consumable products and you have consumers that you teach to order online who do reorders, either through an auto ship program by choice, or they go in and they reorder because they've run out and they want more of what you have, that's when you start to have a paycheck where your income is not tied to your time. And so even though it may be slow going in the beginning of launching a business, you're going to make more per hour as your business grows. And then the leadership becomes important because when you decide to lead a team, that's when you have unlimited potential. So on the left is the chart that we just looked at. And if you go out and you find, 4 business partners, so now there's 5 of you and all 5 of you are doing exactly the same thing. So let's just say that you do a virtual launch and you have 10 people out of 300 that you have contact information for who say, yeah, I would, like to take a look at the business. And 4 of them actually follow through and get started and launch their business. Now, instead of just having $1,000 in sales, your team has $5,000 in sales. And even though your percentage that you're going to get paid is going to be less for your team than it is for you, there's no limit to how many people can be working on your team. So while your personal sales are going to be a higher percentage, your team sales are going to be a significantly higher dollar amount over the course of time. And so you just look at what happens with the same concept on the left, but multiplied times 5, and you can begin to see why people talk about this as an unlimited business opportunity. And then the strategy of putting leadership first, you guys. So on the guest profile, we ask whether or not if they fall in love with the products, would they be interested in starting a business or working as an independent distributor, whatever the terminology is that your team uses. And the power of leadership first is that if you look on the left, this would be somebody who just goes and asks, 30 to 50 people a month. They're kind of following that regular system. They're coming across people as they come across people who might be interested in the business. And so maybe, in the second month there's 2, and then they, double, and then there's 4, and then there's 8. And so let's say 6 months down the road, or 6 quarters down the road, 6 weeks down the road, whatever the timeline is, they've got a team of 64. And so that's a really powerful business model. And we know, anybody who's been in network marketing, who's studied it, knows that doubling over the course of time is really powerful. So even if that's the way you're growing, that's an amazing business. But I want you to look at what happens if you put the power of leadership first in your intention and in your actions, so that you're asking everyone that you know and giving them the opportunity to tell you if they're looking for a business opportunity and if this company is the right fit for them. And if you were to have 4 people out of all the contacts that you have contact information for that actually followed through, launched a business, and duplicated your system instead of 1 on the left, okay, what happens is that you surpass the 64, by 3 time frames in. So again, whether that's weeks, months, quarters, years, doesn't matter. The concept is, what rate of growth are you setting your business up to have? Are you setting it up to double, or are you setting it up to grow exponentially by a different number? And that's what's really powerful about being able to identify leaders at the beginning of your business and teaching your leaders to do the exact same thing, to duplicate that process. So the other thing that is really powerful is this idea of crowdsourced support. And this is something that that social media allows us to do, is that it allows a team to stay connected pretty much 24/7, even if it's a global team. And what happens is, as the business grows bigger and as the group grows bigger, the hours and the knowledge and the experience grow. So it just keeps getting better and better over time. A lot of people make the instant connection that if they're starting a business, this is a great tool for them because they can go in and they can post questions and get answers right away. But what's even more powerful is that one of the biggest barriers to somebody sponsoring someone into their business is the fear that they won't be able to support them. 80 to 90% of people who start a network marketing business still have a full-time job while they're launching their business. And so the idea of sponsoring and supporting somebody who's launching a business, they feel responsible and they feel like they're not sure that they're going to be able to support that person, and that inhibits them from sponsoring people. When you have a group crowdsourced support system for your team, you basically have a place not only where that person can go, but their team can go and ask questions and get support. And everybody helps each other instead of one person feeling that they're responsible for anyone that they bring in the door. And so it takes down some of the barriers to sponsoring and getting people moving in their business. We have in our group, and I highly recommend for anybody who has their own team group, what we call culture keepers or delete fairies. And basically those are just people who go through and they make sure that the conversations are encouraging, positive, respectful, and appreciative, and that they reflect the DSA values. So this means positive, encouraging, supporting of each other, of the company that you work with, of other companies, of other consultants. So it really does provide an attractive environment where people want to go and spend time if you set those rules and keep those rules as you're growing your group. So this system may be a fit for you if you know that social media and technology can enhance your network marketing business, but you're not sure how to go about that. We're going to give you a step-by-step system of exactly what to do. If you're looking for mobile tools to help you work in small time increments from wherever you are, this is going to knock it out of the park for you. If you want or need the ability to grow your business without meeting people in person, we can provide you a solution for that. And if you want to be able to grow beyond your local area. So one of the great things about having a virtual business is it's not just about who lives in your neighborhood. The whole world becomes your neighborhood, and Facebook allows you to connect with them. This might not be a fit for you if you're looking for a system that's going to work without your personal involvement with each guest. So there are systems that promise that out there. I don't know if they're really successful or not, but they say all you got to do is sign up, we'll put people underneath you. That is not this system. This is primarily a warm market system. You can use the profiles. You could use them to generate leads. But what we primarily teach is how to use it as a way to organize your online reach out to your warm market. So there are people that you already know, and then we'll teach you how to meet new people so that you're always expanding that warm market. If you're not comfortable with tech basics, and I mean basics, like copying and pasting, interacting on Facebook, I recommend going to YouTube and Googling some basics and learning and getting comfortable with the really simple stuff like that. Everything else, if you can use your phone and surf the internet and that kind of stuff, you're good to go. If you're new to network marketing and your upline isn't using this system, I recommend that you talk to your upline before you make the decision to do this. And ultimately, we're all in business for ourselves, so it's your decision. But it's really invaluable to have the support of your upline and to be working together and having them help you when you're getting new. And I don't want anybody to feel overwhelmed by 72 different ways that you could work your business. And then the last thing is that if you struggle with change, if you're one of those people and you know who you are, that change is really uncomfortable for you, this is working online is going to be a challenge for you because it is always changing. There are new things. And even if I wanted to leave it the same, the reality is Facebook changes their algorithms and they change what you have to do to make a page visible and those kinds of things. And so you have to be able to sort of modify what you're doing in order to be successful with your social media strategy. So what Zenplify can mean for you personally, it means location freedom, global reach, massive schedule flexibility, a boost of confidence for introverts. You know, I always talk about the fact that I built this system because I had health challenges, and that's absolutely true. I also built it to overcome some of the challenges that I had as an introvert that made working my business much more comfortable for me. And it's insurance for when life happens. So if there's something that would prevent you from working your business in person, you'll be able to seamlessly keep your business going if you add this strategy into your system, into your team system. What this means for your business. So these are some statistics that came from the conference that we went to last month. Consistent follow-up increases sales dramatically. So 2% of purchases are made with only one exposure, 3% with 2 exposures, 5% with 3 exposures, 10% with 4 exposures. 80% of purchases are made after somebody has had 5 to 12 exposures to a brand. Now, go over to the right side. 48% of network marketing consultants never follow up, not even once. They ask, and that's it. So if 80% are happening in the 5th to 12th contact and 48% of people are never following up, do the math. There's a huge discrepancy there. Only 10% of people are following up 4 or more times. And so if you're not consistently following up and you think that might be affecting the number of people who are joining your business or purchasing from you as a client, this is going to be something that can help you. It's better follow-up, which means more clients and a bigger team. Better customer service means more reorders. It's really simple to share, which allows for more referrals. Having a virtual option for working your business attracts new team members. We literally have had people say over the last 5 years that they had clients that had said no to the business multiple times. And when they filled out a guest profile, they asked their consultant if they could learn to work virtually. So again, it's not better. It's not because virtual is better than in person. It's because it's different. And so different people are going to be attracted to working in an online environment than the ones that are going to be interested in working in person. And the Facebook group allows you to stay more connected more of the time. So just a couple really quick steps to kind of walk you through. So remember the chart on the left that said invite, process profiles, follow up. This is what that looks like. You invite somebody to take a look. Somebody says yes. Then you send them a guest profile. They submit that guest profile. That has all kinds of information on it that you're going to ask questions and listen, and they're going to tell you more about what they want and need. Then you're going to recommend the next step that's based on their needs, based on what they've told you. They'll watch workshops, try samples, start clean eating, come to a webinar, an opportunity webinar, that sort of thing. And then some people are going to make a purchase right away. Others are going to need multiple steps. So you want to have multiple steps of follow-up if they don't say yes the first time. And then that last one is serving clients and mentoring consultants. So the guest profile basically helps you identify your guests' dreams and desires. It puts your focus on them. It's modern marketing. It's a two-way conversation instead of presentation style where you're telling somebody without having any idea what things they might be interested in. And it allows you to find your leaders right away because they're going to tell you at the bottom of the form if they're interested. And I will tell you that if they say they're not interested, they may become interested simply because you give them the courtesy of treating them like a client. I had at least 2 or 3 people that joined my business, and they specifically said that the reason they joined my business is that their impression of network marketing was that you couldn't be in network marketing without bugging all of your friends to be in your business. And when I treated them like a client, because that was what they said on their guest profile, and they saw that that's the way they could work their business, they became interested in the business. The system also has automated email campaigns. So as soon as somebody submits a guest profile, they get a response, and then there's tasks and emails. So it allows you to have consistent follow-up with every person every time. It gives exceptional service. So like the client, the new client profile is going to welcome them and thank them for their order. And then 5 days later, it's going to check to make sure they got everything. And then a few weeks later, it's going to make sure they love everything and show them how to reorder. Client education has information about clean eating. So that supports anyone who's going through a healthy eating program. There's new consultant training, and it's a back and forth. So it's basically gives them an email that walks them through the, whatever your training process is, but then it also gives you tasks to check in and see how they're doing. And it's customizable. So anyone who has a large team, if they wanted to customize it, they could. Or if you just want to make some small tweaks to your own, you can change the way that things are worded in the emails. You can change the video at the top of each of the profiles. If you want to make your own video, if your team has a video, all of those things are customizable, but you have the base template to start with. So just a recap, why Zemplify? The profiles are going to allow you to focus on your guest dreams and desires. The campaigns automate those 5 to 12 exposures. I don't know about you guys, but when I heard that statistic initially, like 5 years ago, I thought I would feel like a stalker if I was calling somebody 12 times in a row. And I know there are some executive NVPs that's the way they got where they got, and I totally admire that. And I honestly think that if my success was dependent on that, I probably wouldn't be one of those people who would do what it takes. Tasks. So by not only having the emails, but also having tasks that remind you to follow up, you get to join the 10% of people who follow up more than 3 times. Client care makes reorders the norm. You can take notes every single time you talk to somebody or chat with them on Facebook. You're going to build trust by making every conversation personal because you actually remember what you talked about before. And the number one important thing, you guys, is that it's a simple system that's a team or a company template that makes for simple duplication. So nobody freak out. This is in here because I want to tell you what's going to be happening. This does not apply to you if you're on this call and you decide to get started during this mastermind. So I'll do that next. But what's happening on the 21st of September, now that we have become a separate company, and this is what I'm doing for a living now, is that the software subscription for Zemplify is going up to $24.95 per month, and that includes the software subscription and the tutorials. And then we have what's called a Zemplify Accelerator Pack, and we did a mastermind over the summer, and we determined our pricing based on, we basically took what the average of people said they thought it was worth and dropped it by $50. So access to my workbook and all of my training videos will be $199. And it basically has how to launch and operate a virtual network marketing business. It includes the first 30 days of Zemplify if somebody chooses the accelerator pack over just the subscription. And there are bonus trainings in there for learning how to use Facebook for network marketing and increasing in-person results with Zemplify. And one of the things that I plan to do once the pricing goes up, you guys, is I will make sure that there is a coupon posted on a regular basis and that team leaders have it accessible, that anyone who's associated with VirtuallyENVPs will always and forever have a 50% off coupon, even after we actually start charging for training, which we've never done before. So now what applies to you is this is your opportunity to get grandfathered in. So for everybody who has an active Zemplify account as of the 20th of September, they will keep their existing price. So Zemplify has always been $20 a month or $50 for every 3 months. It's your choice when you sign up. You get to decide what you want. And for as long as you have an active account, you will continue to keep that pricing forever. I won't change it for anybody who already has it. And anyone who has an active Zemplify account on 9/20 will also get on the list. When we move the training site over to our new system, you will have free access to that. And that's lifetime access. So once you have a login for that, it's good for forever. So anybody who decides that now is the time, you guys want to participate in this mastermind, you want to add this into your business, and by all means, share, let people know, because there's a lot of people that have been sort of watching this group and thinking about this for a long time. Now is the time to make this happen. So my recommendation is that you sign up and try it this week. There's a 7-day free trial. And next Wednesday, we're going to do a live launch workshop. So it'll be 2 hours. The schedule that I posted the other day, you guys, was wrong. I had 6 p.m. on September 16th. It's actually 5 p.m. next week. And I updated the one that's a PDF, and I will post an updated picture as well. In that live launch workshop, you guys, we actually send invites. And one of the reasons that I do that live on the workshop is that usually what happens is that during that live launch and during the 15 minutes that we send increments, not only do you learn that you can take business action and you can incorporate in small parts of your day business activities that are income producing activities, but almost always people get responses before we even finish sending the invites. And what that makes you feel like is hopeful and excited. And then you want to take additional action for your business. And that's one of the things that I really want to associate, is that I want people to feel good about working your business. And we actually, one of the bonus trainings is all about loving your business and mapping your success. So after we send the invites, we'll go through how to process profiles so that when you get those profiles back in the next day, you're not in a panic. You know actually how to process those profiles and how to have great conversations. And then we'll talk about how to follow up and help your guests decide on a path that's right for them. On the left-hand side, and I'm going to post this tonight so that there's a copy of it in the groups, is the live launch checklist. So these are the things that you want to do to make the most of that live launch workshop and actually launch your business, not just show up next week to listen to me, but actually do income producing activity that will move your business forward. My goal, you guys, is that by the time you're actually paying for Zemplify, you've already gotten a client that's paid for it. And so if you think about it, really the monthly fee, you guys, you absolutely should be making way more than one new client per month by expanding your geographic reach and the amount of time that you have available to work your business, so that this choice becomes profitable, not something that's costing you extra money. That's my goal for everybody that's involved in Zemplify. So your checklist to be prepared to actually work your business next Wednesday is to sign up. The current training account at VENVPs.com is still free, and that's going to be up probably through the end of the month. And so sign up for an account there, print the workbook. Again, no cost to that. Watch the welcome tab videos. So it's going to kind of give you a recap of some of the stuff we talked about, but there's some new stuff. It's basic orientation. The Zemplify tour shows you, it's an actual tutorial that shows you how the system works. The Zen setup is going to show you how to set it up. If we recommend that you use Gmail with the system, and if for some reason your Gmail won't connect, there's also a quick little tutorial to help you walk you through that process. Or you can, and if you still can't figure it out, you can contact the help desk. And then sign up for Zemplify free trial. And that link, again, will be posted in the group. Fill out your own guest profile. That's the number one way to start to feel comfortable with the system, is to click on your own link and fill it out and see what happens. Then find a friend on your team or in VirtuallyENVPs and fill out each other's guest profiles. So that, again, you get the idea of what it's like to interact with another person through the system. And make sure you show up next Wednesday with a list of 25 people that you're going to invite. So after next Wednesday, the following 2 weeks will be at 6 o'clock again instead of 5 o'clock. And again, I'll send all these reminders out by email and post them in the group. The third week of our mastermind is going to be how to support your business with Facebook. And so we'll talk about what are the differences between a personal profile and a wall, a business page, groups, both yours and others. How could you use those to grow your business? Events. And then the last week, we're going to be talking about cultivating new friendships on Facebook. So number one is how not to be lame or gross, what you don't want to do. And then I'm going to give you 7 very specific, simple steps to sponsoring through social media. So thank you so much. My disclaimer, all of my materials have been produced by me, so they're not official material that's prepared or provided by any particular company. And as always with network marketing, there's no promises or guarantees that any individual is going to be financially successful, because it's all about your own skill and your own effort that you bring to the table. So let me open up my chat window here so I can go through any questions that you guys have. All right. If you have questions, please go ahead and post them. Thank you, Suzanne. I love you too. Wow, oh, wow. Yay, thanks. Thank you, Joanne. I am so glad that I'm feeling better. Like I can't even put it into words. And I know that there are some people in our group who have Lyme disease, because I know some of us are connected. I'm now feeling well enough. I'm actually flying back to Idaho tomorrow, and I am meeting with the doctor that I had treatment from in April to help strategize how I can support him in growing that. So if you guys have Lyme, if you guys have family or friends that have Lyme, I'm going to be starting a Lyme support group where we can share our resources with each other. So that totally has nothing to do with business. But it's obviously close to my heart. So feel free to send me a private message if you guys want to connect with me about Lyme. Okay, so how do you customize the profile pages? So Liv, basically what you can customize on the profile pages, there's 2 different ways to do it. If all you want to do is to customize the video, there are now, I'm so excited, Molly's daughter Cassie recorded tutorials for like all the little bells and whistles that are in Zemplify. So I believe there's a tutorial now for how to replace the video. And it's what you're going to do is you're just going to use the YouTube code. So you're going to record a video, or you're going to find the video and use just the code, not the whole link. And there's a way for you to change that on each of the profiles on the profiles tab. And hopefully there should be a profile or a tutorial up for that. But if there's not, message me. I can do that really quick. That's a super easy thing to do. And then if you wanted more customizations than that, what you would do is you would just create a new, there's a button in the top right that says add profile, and you could just create your own and you can put whatever you want on it. And you know, okay, so Maria, I cannot for the life of me figure out when I go to youtube.com/Zemplify, it's a channel and I clearly own it. Because it has one of my videos on it, but it is not the channel where we've uploaded all the Zemplify things. So I need to figure that out. I put the link to where all the tutorials are. Hold on, let me grab it so I can give it to you right now as well. Hold on just a second here. But what I will also do is I'll put a link to the tutorials on the training site as well, so that you guys can find that. Because at the moment, I can't for the life of me figure out if there's 2 different channels associated with Zemplify and how I messed that up and what to do to fix it. So hold on just a second here. Zemplify. Nope. I don't know about you guys, but I actually think YouTube is one of the most challenging things to figure out. I have Google, and you're so, yeah. So that's the one, Liv. It's the same link that I just grabbed. And so that's where everything is. But I don't think it's the same place that is named, that has the URL Zemplify. Or if it is, I can't figure out why all the new videos aren't showing on that channel. So that's on my list of things to do to figure out, but it's also kind of, you know, long, my list. So I don't know how quickly we're going to do it, but I will make sure that everybody has the link to where the videos are, because that's the important thing. Okay, let me just flip through here and see what other questions I might have missed. Okay. I see a whole lot of woohoo moos from from Suzanne. Moo, by the way, you guys, just for everybody who's new, who doesn't know, when Zemplify was born, Sandra said she was going to have a cow, and then there's been, we have several pet cows that belong to the group, and so that's where the moo comes from. All right, after the 21st. Okay, so Danielle, you guys will all get, we have everyone's video who has or email who has an active account, obviously is in the system. So we will, once we have that set up, we'll make sure we send that out to everybody. I can give it to you now, but you won't be able to actually log in. It's just going to be programs.zemplify.biz. And your login will be the same for whatever you have. So if you have the Zemplify subscription and the training, when you log in, you'll be able to toggle back and forth. It'll all be in the same place now, instead of being on two totally different sites. So hopefully that'll be set up. Like, you might still be going to VENVPs.com through the end of the month-ish or so, but as soon as we have it all set up and moving forward, we'll make sure everybody has it. And yes, Geraldine, if there's not, I think there are new I think she already did a tutorial about how to set up your own campaign. And if for some reason, you guys, you watch all the tutorials and there's still something else you want to know, let us know, because we can make more tutorials. But we have so many more now than we ever had before. So hopefully everything that you need is already there. Let's see. Nicole not sleeping. Welcome to my life. It's been a busy summer. It's been fun, but it's been busy. And it keeps flipping me down to the bottom. So, okay, how can we watch the videos in the campaign without filling out our own profile? If you just click the, so Linda, you can click each of the profiles to see the video that's there. And then if you wanted to see what's in each of the emails, if you click on the campaigns tab, you can click on each campaign and each email to read everything that's in there. So you have access to everything once you're in the system. And again, I'm pretty sure that's in all the new tutorials too. Let's see. I know masterminds are awesome, right, Nicole? I love it. And Liz, you're amazing. I haven't even watched all the tutorials yet, so you have me beat. Because I've been creating my own videos and my own presentations instead of watching the tutorials. So I'm just looking to see if I missed anybody's questions. It keeps, I don't like the way this chat feature works. Every time somebody messages, it bops me back down to the bottom. Okay, I think I got everybody's question. So if I missed you, will the virtual parties be set up? So Brenda, the virtual parties are, this is going to be the training the third week. And the reason I do it the third week instead of doing it as a part of the virtual launch is that I am of the opinion that virtual parties, meaning an event or a group on Facebook, that's secondary. So you could work your entire business virtually without ever having a group or an event set up on Facebook. So I treat that as supplemental training, and I do it after the primary launch. I always recommend that people learn the basic system first and get really comfortable with that, and then add in, quote, virtual parties. So, you know, the language can be confusing because really you can run a virtual party without actually having a group online. It just means giving your host your guest profile and they send it out and then you get the referrals from them. But the virtual parties, if you decide to add in the groups or the events on Facebook, you will do that for yourself, or you'll get together with some sidelines or some people on your team. I highly recommend doing it with a number of people versus trying to do it just for yourself. And we tested a bunch of different ways, and we actually got better results having group parties where it was more than one host, more than one consultant with more people, because what happens is if you do a separate party for every host, you're going to have some parties where people are engaged and it's really fun. And you're going to have a lot of parties where nobody engages and you're just going to be posting and you're going to feel. And so again, I focus a lot on how you feel as you're working your business. I want you to feel good. So you do more things that add to more income producing activity that grow your business. And to me, when I'm posting in groups and nobody's responding, I feel yucky about that. It feels weird to me. And so we really looked for methods that weren't just about getting engagement and getting results, but also we took into account what does it feel like from the perspective of the consultant. Okay. So Marie, what you want to do to get started is you want to follow the prep checklist, the prep list for next week. I'm going to post it in the group. It was what I showed on the slide that had sort of the checklist where you're going to sign up for VENVPs.com. You're going to watch the welcome videos. There's a link to be able to print the workbook. You could also print additional tracking sheets where you're going to track all the people that you're going to invite. And so those are the things that you want to do first this week. If you want to watch some of the training, it's all on that training website. So some of what we're going to be going through on the Mastermind is actually already on the training website, and it always helps to hear things more than once. So by all means, watch as much training as you feel like, but you definitely want to watch the welcome videos before next week and get everything all set up and kind of practice a little bit. All right. We're at 7:00 now, so it is definitely time to wrap it up. Any other questions that I can answer for you guys before we wrap it up? You good to go? Thanks, you guys. I am so happy to be back. I missed you guys over the summer. It's really nice to reconnect with you guys. I love you, and I will see you in the group, and I will see you next week for our live launch. Feel free to, if you guys have other people that you think would benefit from this, I will post the recording and email it out to everybody. So everyone is welcome. Feel free to invite. Love you guys. Good night.